Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Lone Tree. It's a 6x8, and you may have noticed that a little different configuration than our usual. This is a bumper car video for the big one coming your way on Sunday. We'll just burble about some stuff. Maybe we're going to talk about trees because I think this is going to be a great video for those of you that struggle with, you know, working trees out. They're quite complex, and I've got my approach, and you can see me do it over and over on the channel. But I think this one's kind of good because it's just an isolated tree, so it'll probably allow you to concentrate. Now, that video will be rolling out like Sunday or so. Oh, yeah, and basically I've taken that video and sped this up, so you can see some little things whizzing by. But it's regular speed, so it's a 3 hour long video with the palette, and it seems like this sort of thing's been doing good on the channel. Has been a good response to it. I did have it in my mind to commercialize this sort of thing with a lot more frills, I'll be honest, like having the name of the color pop up when I select the color. But well, it's a lot of work, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of things going on there, but I think this is cool. And if you enjoy it, appreciate it, do me a favor, leave me a comment, and encourage me to do more of this sort of thing because it's more work. And the reason it's more work is syncing up that palette with the painting session. So most of my videos, if you haven't noticed, are just the painting session. No palette, but I have a camera set up where I can record the palette. But then that syncing, I wish the AI would get it together and really make it a lot easier than it is, because they promise that they'll do it all automatically. But the end result is I've got to sit there and tweak it all out, and it's a lot of things to navigate through. But I'm happy to do it, and the great thing about putting in that work is it's there. It's there for you. So. When that big one comes, maybe get yourself a little board and make your own version of it. And you can just keep that tab open and work away. Yeah. So trees. Hey, okay. Couple things. Let's get in some good tree points. Just general points. Okay. And I brought all these things up on the channel over the years, but they bear repeating, of course, since we're always getting new people here. And yeah, first thing, very, very important. Like you can see our tree in the reference, and it has a fairly irregular shape, but you'd be surprised how many people will take that irregular shape and make it quite symmetrical. Also, a lot of times trees in your reference might seem very symmetrical, and as you can see, all the colors. This is a sped up color mixing session from that video. Full color mixing. You're gonna enjoy it. Anyway, that tree in your reference might be real symmetrical, and you think, well, that looks okay. I'll just paint it like that. But then you end up with the popsicle tree. You don't want that. So if the tree in your reference is symmetrical, make it irregular. And if it is irregular like this one is, make sure that you maintain that. Now, also, you might notice that, especially as the painting progresses, you're seeing the whole 3 hour session basically crammed into this little 15-minute bumper car video here. You'll notice that I simplify things a lot. Now, that's a good general rule for all painting, all landscape painting. I can't speak much for the figure. I do some figurative painting, but I just dabble. And when I do it, it tends to be kind of graphic-y looking anyway. It's not like I'm sitting there trying to do Rembrandt or something. So I can't speak onto that with much authority, but it seems to me we want to simplify there as well. And when you are an artist, you are making a statement, and that statement is a reflection of how you see things, who you are, the time you're painting in, the culture you're a part of. All of these factors go into every painting that you're going to do. And it's good to know that. It's good to just kind of relax and go with all that, because what we tend to do is kind of seize up on the fact that we are individuals expressing ourselves, which is let's face it, it's the one component of that whole process that is absolutely unique. Everyone else will be going through the same things, but they'll be different people, so that part of the process is always different. And it's massively, massively different because no two people on this planet are the same or even that similar, to be honest. I know if you get into and it's a little bit burbly, this video, but remember, it's a bumper car video. The real massive info dump is coming. Yeah. Um, and in middle of the week video, too, I might add, which, I have a license to burble there. Just follow. I don't write scripts for these folks. I'm just showing up here to share what I do, and that's the main focus of the channel. Really, is to share what I do. But yeah, getting to way early on, I thought, well, geez, I've got to say something. I've got to strike a pose, so to speak. And the pose that I adopted was that of a teacher, and I've been teaching a long time, and you don't have to be super great to be a teacher, even a great teacher. Really, what's important is that you have an understanding and comprehension of the basics, and you can pass it on to other people. Because once you have an understanding and comprehension of the basics, it's my book. Check it out, $60 US, international shipping included. Condensed, really condensed, solid information. 12 years of painting in a tonal manner. There were no other books out there that helped me with that. Of course, the little websites here and there and some videos here and there, but no books. As far as I know, I'm still the only guy that's done the book on painting in the tonalist way. And I'm very proud of it. And, it has a whole chapter on painting trees, I might point out. So check that out if you're interested. Anyway, getting back to our video here and our burbling ongoing session. So let's talk about some more tree things. Okay, you've got to simplify the value structure. Now, when we look at the reference, we can see lots of little specks of this and that. But essentially, you're talking about 4 tones. Okay, you've got your darkest darks and the shadows. You've got your, I'll make it 5 tones, sorry. Darkest darks and the shadows. Then usually I'll come in with a dark green that's quite dark, but lighter than the darkest darks. Then you got a middle green, then you got a highlight green, or actually half the time that color could be very, very orange or yellow sometimes, but that's the structure. So 5 values. Okay, you can break it into 6. You can have really, really super bright highlights. You can, but I personally don't see too much. Like, I've looked at a lot of different painting instructors around, and some of them have a 10 value scale. I think I have an 8 value scale in my book. Don't quote me. It's over there on the shelf. But because my headset microphone has not been, it's making, I don't know if, thank you for those of you that put up with it, because it was making a sound like, yeah, not a good sound. I couldn't troubleshoot or fix it. So this is actually the microphone I use for my music and stuff. Which is a drag in a way, because I have to make sure I don't move my head around, because otherwise the volume comes in, goes out. It's reversed. All right, so value structure simplified. 5 values, 6 at most, even 4. All right. Okay, you look for the you look for big masses. You simplify your shapes, and you want to come up with the larger masses. Also, well, that's kind of common sense. You're going to have to do that at some point to paint anything. So there, I'm sort of telling you something you already knew. But what I would say that maybe could be helpful is, don't worry too much. Don't tighten up too much about matching the exact shape of every mass in the tree. In a sense, it's much like the clouds in the sky when I paint those. I'm taking inspiration and influence from the reference, but really I'm dealing with painting and making a painting, and that's its own thing. The reference is just there to give us some stimulation. And once we've done the painting, who cares about the reference? The most I might care about that reference would be if I want to maybe paint the scene again. Now, I have painted this tree before, and I do believe it's on the channel, but I'd have to say it's probably 2012, 2013, and I believe I did it as a 5x7 and an 8x10. I think it was back in that day, and I think it sold both because I don't have either one. But the actual reference image that I used for that painting is in the book. Now, this reference image, you'll hear me say in the full-length long-form video coming up on Sunday that I might put some in the members area to address what I did with this reference image, but I'm not going to be able to do that because it'd just be me talking, and I don't think it'd go very far. But I can tell you now, and if you're a member, hopefully you are checking out these videos as well. So one of the things I did was I took my original reference and I found some pretty crazily colored previous landscape reference that I'd done before. And there is a feature in Photoshop called neural filters, which you have to bring up the neural filters and then you have to select one of their beta, apps that are included in that section of Photoshop. And they have one called Color Match. It works very well. It doesn't do the sort of things it's not imaginative. Like it won't be like you say if you were coloring a black and white image, you could pull up a layer and just start putting colors over the top with some transparency in Photoshop. You could colorize any black and white image yourself just by hand. In a case like that, you could say, well, I don't want the sky blue, I want a pink, or whatever, so it won't do things like that. But it did it really, because of the reference I put in was quite poppin', with a lot of magentas. You see all that magenta on the bottom is one of the things that makes this different. And when that came up, I was like, oh, that's pretty exciting. I think that's exciting because, well, as I said, the Burley video, the impetus behind this video was I was really getting into some John Enneking. I don't know if you know him. And I wanted to do a study after John. Unfortunately, I just couldn't find a painting I resonated with enough to make the effort. But this is sort of my answer to it. It's like there's a lot of color. It's not in John's style. I basically paint in my own style, but I was thinking about that this morning. My painting style is very informed by people like Francis Murphy, and more than anyone would be George Anness. He's really deep in my DNA, and I haven't actually checked how many videos are in the playlist, but I have a George Anness playlist on my channel. Oh, I must have, I don't know, maybe 60 studies I've done after George, and some are done multiple times. Some scenes that I really love, because I really loved his approach to painting. I like the way that his brush strokes are organic and effective, but not overt. Okay, I'm not a fan of super overt brush strokes. Really extra strong, splashy, that kind of thing. What I like is a expression that leads up to atmosphere. That's my thing, and that's why I really focused in on George when I was coming up, And every now and again, I think, I'd like to do a study after George Anness, but I've done so many. I think I've exhausted, and I've certainly done multiple versions of my faves. But that's not to say I might get into it again. And as far as you are concerned, if you're interested in painting in a toneless way, you can either use my YouTube channel as a resource and go after some of those George Annesses that I went after, or just type his name into the search engines and pull up a few images that you like and just take your stab at it. And that would go for George is really the best tonalist. There's no question about it. John Francis Murphy did some works that are equal to George, but if you look at his whole over. He doesn't hold a candle to George. And even George, he fell flat quite often, but that's okay because he was going for it. And sometimes I fall flat, and sometimes you will too. I think what's good, if you really fall flat, is just destroy the painting, and that way you don't have to worry about it stinking up your legacy. I think he may have caught a bit. I know he cared about that stuff because he was always painting over his old paintings. He was into excellence, and we would have a lot more Annesses than we now have if he wasn't so into that. Anyway, that's it for this bumper car video. And so stay tuned and look for that big long one. It's percolating in the members area right now, by the way, in 4K. So if you don't want to wait, it's $6 to join the members area, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of videos there that are live, real-time videos. And most of the time there, I'm just picking up my palette and showing you what I do, or I'm doing premixes and showing you what I do. So check that out. Anyway, until I come back with another video for your hopefully for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid, take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones, stay out of trouble, and God bless you and your family.